Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be telling you about the books that I read in the month of February. So I read 7 books in February, which I'm pretty happy with. I was actually really busy this month because my senior project came to a close basically in February, which means I had a lot to do, and it was kind of crazy and stressful, and it was also a shorter month than normal. So I'm still pretty happy with what I did. I know some people read like 20 books a month, and I still don't understand how that works out. I read a bunch of good books this month, and I also participated in the booktube games, which was quite fun of a thing for me, and I'm happy with my progress. So I'll probably join, and again, whenever the booktube games happens once more. So let's just go ahead and get into what I read this month. The first book that I read in February was Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm sorry for the glare that this book has. I give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I highly enjoyed it. I tabbed it quite a bunch, and this was actually the group book for the Hogwarts team for the booktube games, and I read it fairly quickly, and I was just sucked into this book. It was so interesting for me, and it's extremely hard to explain. It's one of those books you kind of just want to go in not really knowing much about it. What I will tell you is that it follows a guy, a librarian named Laszlo Strange, and he dreams of the lost city called Weep. He wants to go there so badly. It's like a myth for his world. People don't believe that it's real, but Laszlo Strange believes with everything in him that it's real and that one day he'll find it. And he is just the sweetest, cutest boy ever. Like, what a soft boy. He seriously is like a librarian. He loves reading. He has so many quotable lines. I just can't get enough of him. There's also the plotline of a blue girl falling from the sky and how that may change some things. Like, it makes no sense when you try to explain it, but I think you should read it. It's definitely a weirder book, but it's so good once you get into it. And I didn't give it a full 5 stars just because it was a very slow-paced book, which might turn you off a bit, but the thing is, the characters were so great that you kind of just were okay with it. But at the same time, there was moments where I was like, oh, dang, like, nothing's happening at this point. So that's really why I didn't give it a full 5 stars. But still, I highly enjoyed this book. And I was supposed to read the second book of this month. It's a duology, and it didn't happen, but I'm hoping to read it soon. The second book that I read was On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. This is the same author that wrote The Hate You Give, which I also really loved. And honestly, I have a whole reading vlog for this, and I think that I liked this one better than The Hate You Give, which might be an unpopular opinion. I'm not really sure. But this book was just different from The Hate You Give, but still so similar and like tackling really important topics that a lot of people don't seem to talk about. And it really opens your eyes. And I really enjoyed it, and I love the characters. I love the friendship dynamics. I love how she made this book even more diverse by giving us different sexualities for the characters. I just loved it. Bree is the main character. She is a young rapper, and her dad was actually this huge rapper in her town, Garden Heights, which is the same town, I guess, that The Hate You Give was set in. This is just set a year later, which is kind of interesting because we do get references to the events of what happened in The Hate You Give, but we never see any of the characters, which is fine because this is Bree's story, though I kind of wanted to see some of those characters, but it's fine. And her dad was a huge rapper in this town, but he actually got murdered because some gang members just didn't like what he was doing, I guess. He got wrapped up into that and he got murdered, which is not a spoiler. So she is also a rapper, and she really wants to make a name for herself and help out her family because they don't have that much money right now, and it's a huge struggle. She really needs to make it more than ever in her rapping career. So there's rap battles, there is a little tiny romance, but I thought it was cute. Like, the whole point was not the romance, like, at all. That was just a subplot, but I still found it cute. I just loved the friendship, though. Like, she had 2 guy friends, and I loved them so much, and her brother is also adorable. I just think it's so cute, and I just really liked the actual rap songs that they had in here. Like, I didn't listen to the audiobook like some people did, but I don't even like rap music, yet the raps that she had in here, I was getting them stuck in my head. And I don't even know the beat to them. I just made it up in my head. And it was so great. And I can't wait for the movie for this, because this is turning into a movie. And I'm so excited about this because it's so great. It's powerful and maybe has not as sad topics as The Hate You Gave, because that was all about a murder, you know, but this one still has powerful moments. Actually, Bree has an altercation with some security guards at her school, and they treat her really wrong, and it comes all about how we must fight against this, how it's not right that Black teenagers are treated differently by authorities in schools, which I didn't really know that. Like, I feel stupid that I wasn't that aware of those sort of issues, and I'm glad that this book opened my eyes to that, because I didn't think that was something that still went on, which I might just be ignorant, which probably am. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm really glad that this book opened my eyes to that, because it's really wrong, and I like how they challenged it with the book. The next book that I read was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars, I believe. And y'all are probably like, how did you not give this a full 5 stars, Peyton? This is Evelyn Hugo we're talking about. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I still really loved this book. I have a reading vlog for this as well. Though I absolutely love this book, and I really loved the bisexual rep that Evelyn Hugo brought on, and I loved her story. Like, it was so interesting. This book is all about Evelyn Hugo, this really famous actress who is now 79, and she has not done an interview in decades, and she contacts our main character, a journalist, to tell her story, which everyone's kind of like, why'd you pick her? Like, no one ever talks about that journalist. Why? Like, she's such a small little journalist. So that's a mystery in the book, and also the mysteries of her life. It was just crazy to read about her story, and I highly enjoyed that part of it. Like, I could not stop reading this book. It was a nonstop thing. But honestly, the hype around this book is massive, which I can understand it. But at the same time, when you constantly hear people saying, like, what a masterpiece it was, and like how the plot twist at the end is like so mind-blowing, once you get to the ending, like, yeah, it's good. But, like, I was expecting some life-altering, like, thing that could never be true. I wasn't fully satisfied. Like, I feel like the hype ruins that part for me. I feel like if I read this without the hype, it could have been more impactful for me, which kind of sucks. And I thought I was the only one like this, but I saw in Mayana's wrap-up from Little Wolf Reads that she felt the exact same way, so that felt good to see I wasn't alone. But honestly, highly recommend this book still. It's just that hype kind of took away a little bit from the whole impactful part of the book, and I really love it, but I don't know if it's going to be like my all-time favorite book ever, like it is for some people. But I do want to continue to explore Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I think she's a great writer, and she has such complex characters and interesting stories, so I can't wait to explore that more. The next book that I read was The Last of August by Brittany Cavallero. This is the second book in the Charlotte Holmes series, and I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I also gave the first book a 3 out of 5 stars, which I read in January. These books are really just fun reads, but I'm not finding them to be some amazing thing. Like, I have no tabs in this book, which means it's just okay, like, is what I've realized. This series is a modern day take on Sherlock Holmes and Watson, which is his sidekick partner guy. And it follows the descendants of Holmes and Watson. So Charlotte Holmes is a girl, which I like how it gender bent that. And we also have Jamie Watson, which is a guy, and they kind of have this really, really slow burn romance that seems to be going through the entire series. And the first book, they are framed for a murder at their boarding school, and they have to solve the mystery to prove that they didn't do it. And I can't really tell you much about what the second book is about because spoilers, you know, but I enjoyed it. It just wasn't that great for me. Like, I don't understand the huge hype around this series. Like, I like the characters, but I'm not obsessed with them, and I honestly could live without this series, but they're entertaining enough that I'm continuing, so, and I got these books for really cheap so far, so that's why I've been reading them. They're entertaining. I like mysteries, but honestly, the mysteries in these books are really not that great. Like, I'm not wowed by anything that's going on with them, and like, I could be attacked for this by some booktubers because people love this series. But it's just not wowing me, but it's enjoyable. So let's move on. The next book that I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This book I gave a 4 out of 5 stars, and it was a reread for me. Originally, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars when I read it forever ago, like it was many, many, many years ago. But after rereading it, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed my time re-experiencing this story since I do love the series so much. The later books like really hit it for me so hard, like it's so great for me. But it was not the most amazing thing. Like, Sarah J. Maas has improved so much for me throughout the years with her writing and her stories and her characters. But I loved seeing the characters again at stage 1 when their problems weren't that big of a deal, but it seemed so for them, unfortunately. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And this also is the first book in a really long series, and I read it for my MAASALONG read-along that I'm doing all year with Brittany from Brittany and Books, and we're supposed to have a live show for this on Brittany and Books' channel next Friday. We kind of did it a little bit late because we've been sucking this up. So next Friday, March 15th at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when this will be on Brittany and Books' channel. So go subscribe to her so you can be prepared for the live show and because she's awesome. I can't wait to discuss this book, and I basically don't have much to say other than that this is a book about a female assassin coming out of a death camp and fighting for her freedom. I've explained this series so many times, so I'm just not in the mood. But I feel like most of you guys get it. It was fun to re-experience, but it wasn't as great as I remembered it, which honestly was what I was expecting because I'm a lot more critical of a reader nowadays. Now, we are coming to the point of the month where my life gets so amazing because I decided to reread some of my favorite books of all time, and I just didn't even fully remember how much these books meant to me, but I was feeling down for a few days, let's be real. I was not doing great, and I really needed something to pick me up and just make me feel at home and good, like just something I knew. I loved the characters so much. So I picked up The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I've never reread this book before, but I finally did after like, what, 5 years? Has it been 5 years? Like 5 or 6 years. I feel so good about my life, but the only problem is after rereading these books, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, every book is not as good. Like, where's Katniss? I'm trying to read other books right now. Where's Katniss? I don't know where she went. Ugh. So you can probably already tell that I picked up Catching Fire as well. And let's just say Mockingjay is my first read of March. So just spoiled that, but it happened. So I read the first 2 books, The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Catching Fire has always been my favorite book in the trilogy, and it still stands as so. And I also annotated and tabbed these books as I went, so I don't know if you can see the tabs, but I also used a highlighter for the first time. So I'll show you an example. Like, I just highlight things every now and then, like just random things, like here's a little thing. Just things that stick out to me that I don't really want to tab, but I kind of want to have the line to remember whenever I reread these books again, because I will. I realized these are seriously my version of Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter only a few years ago, to be honest. Like, I was very late to that, and these books were here for me during my 7th grade phase, and I'm now a senior in high school, so these have helped me so much. These really were my first fandom, my first obsession books, even though I never reread them, because I just never reread books until recently, to be honest. Like, I've been doing it all the time because I can't remember any of my favorite books. Like, it hurts, so I have to re-experience them now. And these books, oh my gosh, I found some of my favorite characters of all time in these books. Finnick Odair, Peeta Mellark, Katniss Everdeen. They are my life, okay? They gave me so much strength when I felt like I had none. They made me feel like I wasn't alone. They gave me characters that I could hold on to and always remember when I needed something. And also the movies go for that as well. Whenever I'm just not in the mood to read or something, I can just put on the movies and re-experience that. I seriously, whenever the movies pop on TV somewhere in my house, because my parents have TV on all the time, I hear it and I sprint. I get out of my room and I'll be like, doo, 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 doo. I can't whistle, so I have to sing it. I'm in love. This is just me ranting about how much I love these books and how much the re-experiencing of it was making my life. I instantly felt better. I was like in a bad mental health sort of space. I just wasn't great. And this freaking fixed everything. Like, I love these books. I need to shut up because that's all I'm saying is I love these books, man. If you haven't read these books yet, honestly, guys, you gotta do it. And I'm not gonna explain the plot of this because, come on. I think we all freaking know what these books are about. Like, I volunteer as tribute, man. Like, seriously, you gotta do it. Like, this has just become a rant and gushing moment. Like, I can't feel anything else but love right now. And I need to shut up, okay? I'm sorry. I love this. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm sorry if that got a little scary when I just got into my love for those books. Like, it's intense. It really is intense. I forgot just the level of love I have for those books, those characters, that story. Like, man, it hits me hard. Like this video, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all of my social medias, which are linked down below. Also, go tell me what you read in February. And goodbye.